What is... Oh, I have just been informed. Well, I've not been just informed, but my son wants me to tell you all that a bear can bite through a bowling ball. Yeah, so if you get attacked by one, you might not survive. But a jaguar cannot bite through a bowling ball. It can just dent it. So, if you guys have any trivia coming up, this will totally be on there. That's my cat. This is going great. Enjoy the video. And please like and subscribe. It goes a long way. I'll see you in the comments.
Now, this clip was sent in from a viewer in Oregon to Rocky Mountain Sasquatch. Oregon has a rich history of Bigfoot sightings and is a Bigfoot hotspot in the Pacific Northwest. This clip isn't a video, it's just a still picture, but I have not seen this before. Look at this creature. In the clip, RMSO says that they've been out to McMinnville many a time on Bigfoot sightings. If you look at this guy, I mean, he's not proportional. His arms are longer and more muscular than the rest of his body. They just don't fit. I think far too often we see people dressed up in costumes and they're not able to pull off this disproportional look. I don't know. I'd be interested in what you guys think. I always go back to it's either Bigfoot or it's someone that's got too much time on their hands. Now, this clip came to the Darkest Secret courtesy of Sharon Gaines from Victoria, Texas. Basically, Sherry was in her home office when she witnessed something that defies all logic. Watch the video. Did you notice that the person seemed to be walking backwards? Specifically when passing by the bush. It appears that he is walking backwards and then suddenly turns around and begins to walk normally. I mean, what's going on here? Sherry checked her cameras to confirm this over and over and is now asking for help to try to understand what she may have captured on camera. You can tell that there's something about the way he's moving, his shape, it's not normal. Now when he walks closer and closer to the camera, it's very easy to tell that something is going on. But man, I tell you, when he flips around and starts walking the other way, I mean, I don't know what's going on here. I would love to know what everyone thinks about this. I don't feel like this is a camera glitch. I mean, it might be some trickery, but it's creepy. I'm not sure where this video is taken, but I am loving the vibes. We've got horses just wandering, mopeds, dirt bikes, motorcycles. I mean, this place looks just pretty relaxed. Until this horse gets in a little tangle. Look at this. Look how he drags this. And like I mentioned earlier, the horse was fine, but look at the power of this thing. It must have gotten its hooves caught in one of the spokes or the tires or something. Imagine trying to explain to your insurance company how your motorcycle ended up under this car. But also think about how the guy felt when he walked out, could not find his little motorcycle, and next thing you know, it's tucked under this car. And then on the flip side, what about the person who just has a motorcycle wedged under their door? Lastly, I'll tell you what I do want to see. I want to see the guy's expression when he walks out and eventually finds his motorcycle. That would be a good video. This next clip was taken from the Umatilla Forest near Harris Park, Oregon. So RMSO headed to this area and did some calculations. And what they determined is that this creature was massive because where it was shot. Now this clip you can tell is zoomed in, but to me, this Sasquatch seems to be moving more like a person. RMSO also discovered that if a person were to go out here and play a prank on someone, they would have to trek through thorny bushes, over a river, up a mountain. It would be extremely hard to do. On top of that, the video was taken in November, so the river that they would have to cross would be covered in ice, but maybe not quite enough ice to stop you from falling in. Again, on the worth it meter, this ranks pretty low. So I ask you, what do you think this could be? At first glance to me, it looks more human-esque, but man, that seems like a lot of effort for just a little video. So I stumbled upon this video on TikTok. A man in West Virginia has some property. No one lives on it, he occasionally hunts on it, but he has some trail cams. Now here are the photos that one of his trail cameras picked up. It appears we have a large, hairy, bipedal creature. He's obviously walking by, triggering the camera, walking away from us, back to. And shortly after, we see another creature, in which the landowner described as being a little bit smaller and thought might be a sibling or a child, juvenile, teenage Bigfoot. Now, here's the thing. As we check out these photos, yeah, do they look like a Bigfoot? Yeah, they do. But with the way that people are using AI and the camera stuff and the CGI and the trickery, I mean, it's anybody's guess. I had to dig pretty deep to find these photos. So unless the government or some other organization is censoring, hiding these types of creatures, I would have expected this to get a lot more attention. But as always, you be the judge, but please let me know what you think. I definitely want to know that. Now, here's a short clip from my buddy's property. Yeah, look at the legs on this thing. He sent it to me jokingly saying, look at these alien fingers. Just creepy. Does anyone know what kind of spider this could be? This video starts and at first glance, it looks like a pretty cool volcanic eruption. Taken in April of 1974, residents of Sitka, Alaska saw something strange happening at Mount Edgecombe, a dormant volcano. They knew this volcano wasn't active, so when they saw this dark plume of smoke pouring out, needless to say, everyone was on high alert. As the smoke got darker and started rising from the mountain, scared, people called the police, firefighters. A few people with personal helicopters actually went out to investigate the possible volcanic eruption. Now, here's where it gets crazy. When authorities reached the top of the mountain and they looked down into the crater, instead of a raging volcano and radioing down to tell everyone to evacuate, they found a spray-painted message that said, "April Fools." Yeah, the smoke came from a massive pile of burning tires. A 50-year-old man, a prankster, who for some reason they kept his name hidden, was behind it all. Talk about taking April Fool's Day to a whole new level. I mean, part of me finds this kind of funny, but the guy did waste a lot of people's time, and most likely money. But I guess he'll go down in infamy. A group of tourists on safari were stunned when they saw this creature slithering at them. Their minds were given pause because many recognized it as an alligator, but there was something different about this guy. He slithers closer and you can see that he's missing his front limbs. Look at how he glides over this mud and down into this trench. I mean, he looks like a big tadpole. But I'll say this guy has quite the gut on him, so he's eating good. I can only guess, but I'm thinking he either lost these limbs in a fight, or maybe it was a birth defect. It's almost like a gator-lizard hybrid. Man, nature is crazy. They will adapt. In this clip, we're going to see 4 French hikers crossing a suspension bridge in Hawke's Bay at the Lake Wakarim. Now, before they get on this bridge, they see a sign that says this bridge can hold up to 10 people. So there's only 4 of them, and they're thinking, hey, all right. Well, about halfway, one of the hikers said they heard a crack, which would ultimately end up being one of the bridge cables snapping. And only moments later, 3 of the 4 hikers were tossed into the river 30 feet below as the bridge totally collapsed. Thankfully, there were no injuries to any of the hikers miraculously. And another part I was thinking is that thank goodness the water was deep enough where they fell and they didn't just smash onto the riverbed. Man, that is quite the story to tell. Officials are trying to rebuild the bridge, but it's closed for now and it won't be usable until there has been some heavy testing done. Yeah, that's a good idea. Right here we see quite the standoff. These guys are definitely not in the same weight class, but they are going to square off anyway. Good on this little goat who is not backing down. This reminds me of that quote, it's not the size of the goat in the fight, but size of the fight in the goat. I love how the bull just gives him a little nudge and flies away. I'll tell you what though, this probably did something for the goat's confidence. You know, he probably thinks he really fended off this bull. From what, I'm not sure. Another great place, people just standing around on their mopeds watching a bull and a goat play around. Okay, insane clip here. We see this guy duck around the fence and he's going to do some cliff diving, it appears. Now, I've done some before and I will say it is exhilarating. I get it. But when he jumps and the underwater camera captures what's swimming around him, I know his heart dropped. Look as the underwater GoPro captures a massive great white within feet of him. I mean, you're completely out of your element. You stand no chance if that shark really wants you. If you notice at the beginning, it looks like the person he's with, as soon as he jumps and looks back up, it looks like they're pointing. Another thing I noticed too is like this is in a little cove. You see all the boats anchored out there. There's sailboats, there's some yachts. Like, what if people are jumping off those boats and there's just great whites swimming all around? I mean, that's pretty common when you're in still water areas like that. Man, I tell you what, this is great footage, but, you know, I'd have a hard time getting back in the water after seeing that. I just know this is in Australia. It has to be. I mean, these videos I don't usually spend a lot of time on because this obviously, I believe, is a fake. I don't really like even saying that because, you know, I don't know, maybe it's some other type of creature, but I feel like this is intended to be a Bigfoot and to me it just doesn't look like one. But I'll say this though, whatever kind of creature this is, I wouldn't be standing there, you know, filming it. Even if it was a weirdo in a ghillie suit, like, what are you doing out in the woods? If I stumbled upon that, I'd be like, okay, man, I'll check you later. That's kind of the other part that doesn't make it feel real to me. Like, the guy behind the camera probably knows the guy in the suit. Yeah, you get it. Okay, so this one had me going. I mean, this one, for a minute there, I sat and thought, wow, this is a Bigfoot. He's resting. Look at him. Looked like he was doing like a little self-grooming with his hands. I mean, but funny enough, when he was doing that, I noticed his hands. And then he starts to strip off the layers. But, I mean, I don't know what's going on there. Maybe it's some type of documentary or a movie. But that looked pretty realistic at first. Lastly, I'll say this, you know, I probably wouldn't be walking around dressed in that suit all willy-nilly in the woods. Someone might take a few shots at you. According to a Swiss urban legend, people have reportedly encountered a mysterious human-like figure in the Freiburg forest near the town of Mals since the early 2000s. Numerous allegations over the years describe the figure as being about 6 feet tall, always wearing a vintage-looking gas mask covering his entire face, along with a boiler suit and a cloak. Most who claim to have seen the figure report that he is completely harmless. But I mean, these encounters remain pretty frightening. This guy has a gas mask on. So it shouldn't feel uncommon for people to notify the police when their children felt scared. As the years went on, local residents soon began adding their own twist to the story, with some suggesting the figure was the ghost of a mentally unstable soldier, while others believed it was an alien. Initially, the consensus was that this was a story, and was classified as an urban legend, and the mysterious humanoid was named Loyon, also known as the Ghost or the Hermit of Mals. Throughout the early 2000s, Loyon was primarily the subject of local oral legend due to the lack of real evidence supporting its existence. However, in 2013, the story gained international attention when the Swiss-French newspaper Le Matin published the first ever photograph of Loyon sent in by a hiker. And this absolutely blew it up. The publication of this photograph, interest surged and people from across the world began visiting the woods outside Mals, hoping to catch a glimpse. But that same year, the story takes a dark turn. The last known sighting occurred in June 2013 when a local woman named Marianne Declue saw the figure clutching a bunch of flowers while she was walking outside. A few weeks later, Loyon's clothes were discovered in the woods, along with a wooden note titled "The Death Certificate and Will of the Ghost of Mals." In the letter, Loyon accused the media of having murdered a harmless being by revealing its existence and turning him into a spectacle. The letter also mentioned that due to the unwanted attention, Loyon had to abandon his daily walks, referred to as his happiness therapy. After the cryptic note was published, many concluded that Loyon had taken his own life, although this has never been confirmed. But 11 years later, in 2024, nobody has ever seen Loyon's true face. Some theorize that the figure might have been a woman with a facial disfigurement. She was ashamed of it, and that would explain the gas mask, they say. Others think Loyon was a sinister entity, and as we mentioned before, an alien. However, the majority of people think Loyon was exactly what he said he was. A harmless being that was turned into a spectacle. Let me know your thoughts, or if you've heard of the Loyon legend. In this Sasquatch clip, a hunter in Canada claims he caught Sasquatch on camera right here. I can definitely see the creature creeping through the woods. And immediately I could tell that this is walking like a human. Bigfoots do not move like that. They don't take those dainty, soft, careful steps. Very early on in the comments, people are skeptical. One guy said, yeah, he must have gotten a nice new pair of rubber boots for Christmas. Someone else saying, Bigfoot would have sussed him out. There's no way this guy would have got him on camera. And I would agree. I don't know, this is probably just a big bunch of nothing. This video is pure comedy gold. A hungry bear is on the hunt for a snack and spots a bird feeder hanging from a tree. Desperate for food, the bear decides to climb up and grab it. Look at this guy. This is pretty impressive, I guess, until the bear realizes that he can't actually eat it while hanging upside down. But yeah, I'm actually pretty impressed by this. It really shows how strong these bears are, too. After a few hilarious attempts to balance itself, he comes crashing on down to the ground. Hopefully he's not feeling very defeated, but that guy was pretty determined, man. There must have been some peanut butter in there or something. Great capture. I found this video and I just thought it was cool. Out of ignorance, I guess these crystals are just pulled out of this clay. I mean, I know that sounds ridiculous, but I'm kind of embarrassed I didn't know that this is where they came from. I mean, these people are pumped up about this if you listen to them. And why wouldn't you be? Also, there's something therapeutic about this, them hitting that with the pressure washer and knocking away all the clay. I'd love a good explanation of this if anybody really knows what's going on here. And how these are found. I scrolled through the comments, but I didn't see much information. One person said, "I was terrified you weren't going to show it cleaned." Me too. Now, I'm sure many of you have seen this clip. Taken in 2018 by a man in Canada, it just shows a moose eating some grass on the side of the road. Well, if you look to the left of the video, we see what appears to be a skinwalker in the woods. There's definitely some movement on the left side of the moose. But that's not what we're focused on here. Even though this creature appears to be stalking this moose, what we're focused on now is new information about the skinwalker that's in the tree. It appears it might leap and jump onto the moose. So one stalking it from behind and one in the tree. Again, there's not much information about this video and there's been no follow-up. Let me know if you can see both of the skinwalkers I'm talking about.